What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're as old as me, then you watch cable TV, right? So I found a video about the death of cable TV. I literally stopped watching from like 2015, I think. So I don't know when TV actually died, but let's see.
Can't get enough tugging? Go to extratug.com for exclusive content that YouTube won't let me post, and also a bunch of other cool things. Okay, thank you.
That sounds like porn. Just saying.
When Netflix premiered House of Cards in 2013, viewers were treated to an opening scene showing Kevin Spacey committing animal cruelty with a foghorn leghorn accent. And just
You don't see Kevin Spacey no more, that's for true.
as he smothered the random dog in some roundabout analogy, this little artistic move had Netflix themselves smothering the entertainment vessel we sailed on our whole lives, cable TV. Not only did this jaw-dropping television show,
Yeah, Netflix basically did kill TV. But when did it kill TV? That's my question. You get what I'm saying?
show all of us that cable television wasn't the only place you could go to nowadays for well-written, good television. It also showed that Kevin Spacey is really good at playing an evil person. Where is he pulling that energy from? It's 2013, so we won't ask any more questions. The life and death
I was dying, but yeah, you see, he knows.
of cable TV is something that I hold near to my heart. This isn't like hearing about how CDs took over cassettes or how DVDs took over VHS. This isn't some long-gone technology that Gen X
Or Blu-ray took over DVDs. Blu-ray? Streaming. So Blu-ray didn't really, well, it did make it, but it
about
really
this
make
is
it.
us. Like, we lived through this. We all saw what happened here. We all sat around the blue light campfire and watched cable TV die. But it wasn't always a joke of a medium. Cable TV, for a lack of a better term, was the balls. It was dope. With cable TV, consumers had access to hundreds of channels covering every topic imaginable, including a version of Comedy Central that didn't just air the same reruns of The Office all day, every day. We could just turn on the TV and watch the coolest music videos.
Dave Chappelle show, man, that was a great show. You had to be there. Be on the TV. You have to be old. The current generation probably just maybe they wouldn't understand, but maybe it's just nostalgia talking, because like in the future when they're older, maybe we get like videos projected in our heads for some fucking reason, and they'll be remembering like when streaming was dope.
Of all time, anytime. We could watch Spike TV, which was like if a pair of boobs and a tall boy decided to make TV programming. We used to be a proper country before cable TV became the family dog that had 1 or 2 vet appointments before it's finally gonna get put down. So let's hold hands and talk about everything that went right and wrong with cable television. And maybe realize at the same time that streaming is making every fucking mistake possible that cable TV already made.
Exactly. Like, I really, they have a ad tier, and you have to pay to get out of the ad tier, and I think even then you'll still maybe get 1 or 2 ads.
Because if we don't learn from history, then something bad happens. I don't know if that's the right quote, but I saw the headline of the article. I didn't finish it.
Makes sense. Me too. I didn't see the article. The life and death of cable TV. Let's go.
So despite the fact that television is not outdated as we all think, I do think I have to explain a few things here. Like, cable TV and broadcast TV are not the same thing. These are different concepts. I know some of you are groaning at the fact that I have to explain that, but some people were born after 2007 and can operate a computer, so we have to go through these things. Broadcast TV uses public airways that can be picked up by basically any TV out there. You ever hear about those things called rabbit ears? Like those big sticks that would stick out of your TV and you'd have to adjust them to get channels? That's broadcast TV, except they did stop doing that when they moved over to like the technology version of it, but whatever, it's like everyone's getting it for free. These include the NCIS and Dick Wolf cartel networks, CBS and NBC, for example. PBS
For me, I CVM and TPJ, and I think Hype TV, and maybe porn.
also, which is why whenever you meet someone who was poor when they were a child, they don't know anything about SpongeBob, but they can sing the entire theme song to Rough Ruffman verbatim. Broadcast survives via ad dollars from its highbrow art of the common television commercial. Cable television networks like Animal Planet still depend on ads, but they could do a little bit more, like show my kid self how various farm animals give birth. They don't use public airways, and they require a subscription-based service. And the cable companies always operate with the highest ethical concern and are always really cool about that shit. Those subscriptions they have, they're not scams at all. Cable TV was revolutionary in its distribution of over-the-air programming to places with poor broadcast reception. This was dish TV. Like, there was no actual cable, but you put a disc on your roof that looked like an anal probe, and then you could enjoy the X-Files like everyone.
I didn't have a dish, but I did have cable. I did have cable.
else, unless it was
They
raining
should
or
expensive,
snowing, or it was a little
remember
too
that.
hot or a little too cold that day, or
Yeah,
the sun
you
was
need to
out. The
put that
best thing
on your
about cable
roof.
TV over broadcast was the specialty networks based on specific genres like science fiction or Guy Fieri. With cable networks catering to different niche audiences, the push to diversify programming grew as more people had access to cable, freeing them from the clutches of the 3-channel lifestyle. There was basic cable at first, and then there was more premium cable that let you swear a lot and show boobs sometimes. Usually side boob, but you could show boobs. And those two things were the coolest things a
I
fifth
think HBO at night also had, well, you know.
grader could get his hands on. So it was always fun to go over a friend's house that had premium cable, and then when their parents went to sleep, they all watched boobs. It was fun. Putting things in your mouth.
See?
You do it, I do it, everyone's doing it. In
talk
recent
about
years,
factor.
adult human beings have been locked in a repetitive cycle of
Factor,
putting
it's
things in
gotta
their
be
mouth
factor.
due to addiction or habit. And I, for one, think that things you put in your mouth should be safe and harmless. Unless we're talking about food, I keep eating Little Debbie honey buns, and I know that's absolute poison. But what if I told you there was a product that helped with oral fixation, also tasted yummy, and it was also not addictive or harmful to you? What? You'd probably call me a liar, and then I'd retort by calling you a big ugly dummy because Fume exists. Fume has created an award-winning flavor air device. Fume is so much better than anything else you suck on to get a blast of flavored junk because it's nicotine-free, guilt-free, and completely non-toxic.
See, also a thing with cable, the ad breaks. Anyway,
But it still tastes yummy and helps with oral fixation. Whoever said don't play God was wrong, whoever that was. They've got tons of flavors to choose from, like simple crisp mint, to flavors like orange vanilla or bold black licorice. Lots of fun tastes for a fun cowboy such as yourself. Also, since there's no vapor, you can use it anywhere. No more sitting in a bar and getting kicked out by a bouncer because you couldn't hold off from sucking on a adult pacifier.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, why couldn't you just hold off? But you made the joke.
3 seconds. Fume also continuously invests in third-party researchers to ensure the safety of their products. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you could be their next success story. This holiday season, you can give the gift of better habits with Fume. Head to tryfume.com/BigTug and use code BigTug to get a free Fume topper when you order the Journey Pack. It's the perfect addition to make your gift just a little bit more special. And apparently, if you're lucky, you could even win one of Fume's limited edition gold-plated devices this holiday season. They're doing like a raffle. Again, head to tryfume.com/BigTug or just use the QR code on the screen to grab your Fume now and make someone's holiday unforgettable. Thank you. So when we're talking about cable, we got to talk about the big hitter of the industry, which of course was HBO. HBO was just the dopest place to watch the dopest shit imaginable while
That's where you could get the boobs.
staying inside your home. It was a game-changing concept in the American media landscape. Home Box Office was founded in 1972, offering uncut and commercial-free movies, which was revolutionary before streaming made our brains all small and peanut-like. It was especially wild back then because if you wanted to watch a movie that wasn't in theaters, whoops. That you shouldn't think that, because that's impossible. I mean, yes, they did play movies sometimes on broadcast TV, but they were really old and no one cared about them, and also they would cut them down so they would fit into the TV format, and it just sucked. So HBO was filling that void. Before Game of Thrones and The Sopranos, HBO offered its first original series on September 8th, 1970.
I've never watched I didn't need to pause that. I've never watched The Sopranos.
And it had a different kind of anti-hero that HBO became famous for over time. Instead of a rough and rowdy, down-to-earth white guy, it actually was showing off a puppet. It was a puppet show for kids. Weird start to what this channel would become. The only notable thing in the 70s was like...
See, my thing is, I had cable, but I didn't really watch movies on cable. What I watch is just pure cartoons, bro. You see me on the Nickelodeons and the Disney channels. Well, not really Disney channel. But Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, sometimes Boomerang, Comedy Central, you know, those are the TV shows. Those are the channels I watch. I don't know nothing about what he's talking about. I've never watched these.
Behind the NFL, or inside the NFL. It was a show for dads, and dads loved it everywhere. They rejoiced. By the 80s, the network branched out with more puppets for some reason with Fraggle Rock, but other hit shows like Philip Marlowe, Private Eye, and Tales of the Crypt came around. Fun fact, the dude from Tales from the Crypt is my sleep paralysis demon. That dude was way too scary to be a Jim Henson creation. By the end of the 90s, HBO really cemented its status of prestige that we all know it for today, with the yearly premieres of iconic shows Oz in 97, Sex and the City in 98, and The Sopranos in 99. So HBO was showing everybody that cable could be pretty dope as fuck, but that had some pretty unintended...
Is Sex and the City really that good? Like, what is it even about? Are they having sex in the city? Like, I've never even... I watch How You Met Your Mother. Like, that's a great show until the ending. Man, Barney, peak. The gay guy, that's the most straightest guy in the show.
Consequences. Ted Turner is a name we have to bring up. Ted Turner is a piece of shit. Nicknamed Terrible Ted and the Captain Outrageous, he became one of our biggest media moguls. His untreated manic brain created the 24-hour broadcasting model, whereas before the TV network shut down at the end of the night. Which, one, is crazy that they used to be like, all right, that's TV. Good night. We're just gonna play the American national anthem, and then we're just gonna...
That's what they used to do on TV? That's crazy. What?
not do anything until morning. And also, non-stop TV programming, that was a good move. That hasn't had unintended consequences on the way we consume media and also get our information. That's not ruining how the American brain. Good job, Ted. Turner started his career by being a college dropout.
I mean, is it really that bad to have this non-stop broadcasting? I mean, yes, yeah, you can think about it to be that bad, because then like people basically don't leave their house. But then again, the broadcasting only stops at like night. So would they leave their house at night? Like if you just stop the broadcasting like midday and say yo go outside, then maybe. But I don't think they do that. I mean, like it's like probably in the entire day, and then in night they stop it, and then they turn it back in like probably 7, 6 o'clock, right? So if you think about it like that, the unstop the broadcast really doesn't change a thing. It really just says, oh, you can now watch it in the day and in the night. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
About a tale as old as time. He was thrown out of college for having a girl in his dorm room. Ted Turner then set his sights on building an empire by acquiring different TV stations and airing things like secondhand programming and I Love Lucy and Bugs Bunny. Now I know what you're thinking, where did Ted Turner get all of this money? He dropped out of college and he was just acquiring TV
Nepo baby.
stations? How would he do that? His dad was rich.
Of course.
You could have guessed it. His dad was rich. He had a bunch of billboards. He was a billboard media mogul. A lot of old school film fans hated Ted Turner's guts because he kept recoloring old black and white movies. Famous pile of creamed corn Roger Ebert referred to this desecration of old films as vulgarity of computerized graffiti gangs. I think Roger Ebert was a piece of shit. I don't like that guy, but he made a good point. You don't want to cross film fans. You don't want to get against the letterbox brigade. There's nothing more savage than a group of David Lynch fans heading for you. By 1979,
K-pop fans. K-pop fan, that's more savage.
Turner established the TBS Superstation, a first of its kind, offering an independent TV region-specific TV station to cable and satellite TV subscribers anywhere in the country. Soon there was an explosion of cable channels with offerings for just about everyone. Before MTV became a dumpster of just what Rob Dyrdek shits out every day, it gave the music industry an entirely new visual medium. And
who's Rob Dyrdek? Is that the guy from Ridiculousness? Because like I realize that MTV like airs Ridiculousness like at least 12 hours a day? Like what the fuck?
Majorly impacted the look of commercials and TV movies at the time. People were just trying shit in music videos, and then some of it worked out, and people were like, hey, yo, let's make a movie that looks like that. VH1 was kind of like that. It was originally created to play music videos appealing to an older audience, but then they realized that older people couldn't give a shit about this thing. Yeah. They don't care about music videos, so that's not working out. Then they shifted to reality programming like Behind the Music, I Love the Decade series, The Surreal Life, and the spin-off Flavor of Love. And they kind of ruined MTV by doing that, because then MTV started making reality shows, and that was the death of MTV. Sorry, Jersey Shore was fun, but that it was peak. This is over kind of content.
Like with Jersey Shore fun, like I'm thinking about Nickelodeon. Anyway, I'm talking about Jersey Shore. I remember when it was coming out, and I felt like it was more cringe than fun for me. I don't know. Maybe just seeing them acting like total idiots, it got to me, because why are you doing that? But thinking about it again, like it was TV and they needed to act for the television. So they might conflicting thoughts.
Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network battle for supremacy to keep the attention of dumb children.
I Puffy on you, me.
Who just want to watch.
Hey, I'm not dumb. Fuck you.
Cartoons all day, aka me. And the children often picked a side. It was like a civil war. Yeah. Rugrats versus Johnny Bravo. SpongeBob versus Ed, Edd and Eddy. Cow and Chicken versus all that. And I'm pretty sure Nickelodeon wins all of those battles.
Whoa.
Those were cherry picks. ESPN.
Whoa. What did this bitch say? Nickelodeon won all of those? How did SpongeBob beat Ed and Eddy? SpongeBob might still be going on, but SpongeBob isn't as good as Ed and Eddy. Come on, bro. Be for real. Be fucking for real. What were the other one?
To keep the attention of dumb children who just want to watch cartoons all day, aka me. And the children often picked a side. It was like a civil war. Rugrats versus Johnny
Rugrats. Plus, again, these were both on Cartoon Network, by the way.
Bravo. SpongeBob versus Ed, Edd and Eddy. Cow and Chicken versus all that. And
these were the only Nickelodeon something shows. And all that win. Fuck Cow and Chicken. Cow and Chicken was so fucking weird.
And I'm pretty sure Nickelodeon wins all of those battles, but those were cherry picked. ESPN gave sports guys the chance to watch a sport, then watch the highlights from that sport, and then watch a guy talk about the highlights from that sport. Truly masturbation level television. Comedy Central gave us some of the most iconic television series of all time, like South Park, Chappelle Show, and Reno 911. Why doesn't anyone talk about Reno 911?
No one talks about Reno 911. It was so weird. It was such a weird show. I never realized this lady before. I never realized her before. him, like he was so like in his shorts. Brother, like I don't know.
On anymore. It was such a good show. Adult Swim's impact on animation and comedy is, I've already talked
Cartoon
about
Network.
it way too much. And some cable channels gave us hyper-focused programming like the world's most epic tank battles and Ancient Aliens, both airing on History Channel, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but it was fun. We were having fun. Spike TV and G4 were channels for dudes and dudes only. HGTV, Oxygen, and TLC was for the ladies,
Women's.
for the dainty ladies. And I don't know if advertisers back then knew about non-binary folk, but if they did, it was probably Steven Universe, probably Cartoon Network. That did a lot for the culture. Then you have more nondescript channels
was
like
so far. I
TBS,
didn't watch
TNT, USA
TV at that
Network,
time.
True TV, and A&E, and they would just pump out whatever the fuck. They were just making content for anyone who would watch it. You turn on TNT and you're gonna watch an NBA Finals game, a home improvement show, and like a cooking show, all within a 2-hour block. It was pretty fun. But the term golden age only exists when the ages that follow it were notably shittier than the ones that preceded it. And oh boy, did things get shitty. They got real shitty real fast. Soon after his peak, cable TV was fully oversaturated with many channels covering the same ground and lots of the same shows were airing. Lucrative syndication deals became the goal for any television show, leading so many shows to sputter in terrible final seasons just to reach the number of episodes needed to get syndication. Syndication gave networks an option that was way cheaper than making your own original programming. So naturally, the business geniuses just gave up on making good shows and just said, hey, let's just air Friends and Seinfeld until we die. MTV is the biggest culprit of this bullshit, by the way. That channel has been a well-known joke for many years. With ridiculousness occupying most of the broadcast hours in the week, the channel has become an unkillable zombie version of its former self. They completely gave up and focused on Paramount Plus. Actually, any Viacom channel has done that. Go watch Adult Swim on the TV. Go tonight, stay up a little late and watch Adult Swim. There's no more ads on that channel. It's just ads for Paramount Plus. They've given up on trying to make money, just sending people to Paramount. Speaking of which, I don't
That's crazy.
think Cartoon Network even exists anymore. Like, the channel is still up, but like people on Twitter who used to work there say like the channel is pretty much gone. Like, no one works at Cartoon Network anymore, and that's fucking scary. All of the TV networks were forced against their will to shift
That's
their
new from Rio 901. But I was thinking like, what the fuck is happening?
focus onto their own streaming platforms, which most of which haven't made a profit yet, and by the time this video is out, could already be shut down. I mean, Peacock. That shit sucks and it's not gonna be around for long. Not to mention everything is on YouTube. I mean, the internet, people don't talk about how much the internet fucked over cable TV. I mean, have you talked to someone born after 2000?
YouTube fucked over cable TV hard. The internet fucked over cable TV hard. Because like, why are we are we going through commercials? Well, no. Let me pirating helped. Normal internet, still normal internet, because people still sit through ads. Those are basically commercials. You just have less commercials, give or take. Yeah, cause maybe you go to like 3 ads. I've seen people go to like 1 minute unskippable ads, which is sad for you guys. Like, get hot, blah.
2005, they wouldn't know how to find a channel on the TV. All the media they consume comes from the internet. The true beginning of the end from when cable TV threw in the towel was when they started airing streaming shows on cable TV. Like, they started showing BoJack Horseman on TNT or whatever. They said, you know what, you win. We're just, it's over. We're just gonna, you guys are doing everything. We're just gonna pretend to be you in a Uno reverse card. When I have access to it, I'll admit, I watch cable TV to bring myself back to a simpler time. Sitting down and watching Shark Tank again makes me feel, it's like, I feel simple. I feel simple. Having genuine ad breaks too, I miss that. Not the shit YouTube does where I'm just watching the dime bar at the bottom go down so I can hit the skip button. Or the shit Hulu does where it just shows me the same ad 7 times in a row. But just hearing a cheesy as seen on TV ad about some useless gadget while I stand up to go grab a snack or take a piss, it gives you a break from the media. Going back to cable TV in 2024 is like visiting your grandma in a nursing home. It's cute and you both get to relive your own versions of memories, but you know, this isn't gonna last forever. Cable TV did a lot for my generation and the generation that came before me. We were practically raised on television. But all good things come to an end, and I'm pretty sure the end of cable TV has already happened. I mean, yes, it's still around, but so is radio. You know, it's always gonna be here, but it's not a moneymaker. But who knows? If streaming keeps going the way it's going, we might all have to go back to cable, because it's almost as bad. New videos every Saturday and Wednesday. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I didn't talk about TiVo. Oh my god, how did I forget about TiVo? I may make a whole video about TiVo. And thank you to Fume for sponsoring today's video. Head to tryfume.com and use code BIGTUG when you order the Journey Pack for a free...
Alright, that ends the video. That was a good video, actually. I will send you the... Well, I'll leave the link in the thingamajig. But anyway, what do you think about the video? Any thoughts in the comment section? Like, comment, and subscribe, as he said. Yeah, you should probably like his video, too. I'm pretty sure more people probably watch it. Anyway, stop thinking. Stop talking. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.